So I guess everyone's just talking about Brian Barczyk again. Screw it. Let's play that intro. Never would I have thought that there would be a more controversial subject than, say, bearded dragons on loose substrate. That seems to be the one that everyone's divided on. You're either in it or you're not, and it's just it's such a volatile subject, just not fun. Well, then we found out about Brian Barczyk. Brian Barczyk has got to be the most notorious breeder and really just reptile influencer. We'll just pack it all into one group. He's the one that if you're in the hobby, you probably know about him. And to go further in that, you're either in support of him and you love him so much, or you hate his guts and you think he's the worst person in the world. There seems to really be no middle ground there. I've been following Brian for somewhere around 5 years. Pretty much my first year I was in the hobby, I found out about Brian Barczyk. You Google or put in YouTube reptile, Brian Barczyk's videos are gonna come up there. And I guess you could say my relationship with, Brian would be somewhat of a love-hate. First got into the hobby, I loved the dude, like most people that get into it, he's pretty much the idol to me. He had all these animals, all these cool projects going on. He's the reason I kind of wanted to be a reptile breeder, I wanted to have this really large facility and just have all of these animals. That really was the dream. Fast forward to about, I'm in the hobby for, 1-2 years, somewhere around that, and I find out rack systems are bad and you should not keep reptiles in rack systems. All of a sudden, my ideology changed about Brian. He was the worst person in the world. How could you put something in a rack system? No, those animals hate rack systems. He's the animal abuser, puppy mill for reptiles, bad, bad, bad. That's really what some of you guys sound like, I swear to God. Facebook groups. Seems to be a common trend in the reptile hobby, and that really comes from, when you first go in, you're pretty gullible, you're learning information from anyone and anything, so you have no idea where you are. The reptile hobby itself is just a massive hobby center, I guess you would say. That don't really make sense, but, there's a lot to learn about everything. There's multiple species, snakes, lizards, frogs, different species of frogs, different species of snakes. You know where I'm getting. A lot of animals to learn, a lot of husbandry to learn, etc., etc. But then you get into the hobby for about 1-2 years, and there seems to be this trend of just an arrogance that engulfs these keepers. This is what I like to call, the Facebook expert stage, where you know a little bit about 1, 2, 3 different species, and all of a sudden, you know it all. You are the expert. You know how to care for those animals to the T, and if anyone does anything different, they're wrong. Seems to be a common trend that the people that have, not very much experience are the ones that are most opinionated on these social media groups, such as Facebook, things like this. And just, it comes to almost a bit of pure pressure that, like, you have to choose sides on something like Brian Barczyk. And if you are an animal lover and a good reptile keeper, your racks are bad, Brian Barczyk, bad, bad. You can't like Brian Barczyk if you care about animals because he does not care about animals. Yeah, that's pretty much, the Brian Barczyk controversy summed up into one thing. And yeah, I was the same way. From about, 1 to 2 years on, Brian Barczyk was the worst. He was horrible. And don't get me wrong, this was about the time where there were videos of him saying full-grown retics into rack systems. I believe they were the Freedom Breeders. We had tegus and water monitors in Freedom Breeder rack systems. I think there were like 3 gators in like a pool once. It was some pretty bad stuff. It wasn't something that really you could look the other way, I guess you'd say. And he did deserve some of the crap that he got, but my God. Did that man get so much hate? I mean, we are talking 5-7 years now. Still, just the same amount of hate. I mean, oh man. But now let's fast forward to, 2020, 2017, 2018. Whenever he started building the Reptarium, I'll be honest, I'm not like the biggest Brian. I watch his videos. I'm not watching him every day, but I do watch quite a few of them. The Reptarium, let's get into the Reptarium. Now, that is a huge step up. Of course, we have animals like the Lucy, the retic, in this massive enclosure. Of course, the anaconda, salt and pepper, the gators. That's my stand on Brian knowledge. I don't know any of the other the animals. I'm sorry. Enclosures seem to be adequate, even above adequate, some would say. Now, are they the best enclosures ever? I would say no. And I do have a problem with people saying, you know, like, the Reptarium is it's heaven for reptiles. It is the best you can ever get. Listen, we'll get into it, you know, I'm just gonna come out and say it. They're nice looking enclosures. They're more aesthetically pleasing than functional, it seems to be like. It looks like they got a nice fancy background and some dusty ass cocoa fiber in there. I mean, if we were talking about getting some live vivariums in there, some fucking plants, some separate design, some biodude type shit, hell yeah, and a 12 by 8 by 7, whatever those enclosures are, that would be heaven for reptiles, but it's just an adequate space, I would say. Are you gonna jump? He's gonna do it. Slow-mo. Well, this is awkward. They're nice setups and they are above what the average person is doing. I mean, hell, let's say they are way better, you know. Lucy's, the Anaconda's enclosures, I bet they're 10 times better than what the average dude is keeping them in. So they're good, they're even great enclosures, they're not the best. I want to keep everyone grounded here. They are not the know-all, the best enclosures ever. They are very nice. That's really my biggest pet peeve of Brian Barczyk, is the fucking fanboy saying, these are the best enclosures ever. That's some dusty ass cocoa fiber, man. Yeah, are they even missing that shit? Like, what is going on? That's my biggest controversy with Brian Barczyk, not any of like the rack system stuff or anything like that. It's the fact that the substrate's dry. That's where I go after him in that mark. Now, the best part about making this video is the fact that I'm kind of, you know, doing some pro Brian stuff and then some con Brian stuff. So like, it's not like everyone's gonna be like, oh man, that guy has some good points. It's more gonna be like, the people that don't like Brian Barczyk are gonna not like me, and the people that like Brian Barczyk are not gonna like me. So, I mean, pretty much there's just gonna be a mass disliked in a garbage can in the comment section. I'm predicting it now. This is not gonna be, this won't be a video where I'm keeping too close of an eye on the comment section, because usually they just end up with dumpster fires. So, does Brian Barczyk deserve the amount of hate that he still receives in 2020? I don't really think so, I'll be honest. I mean, that Reptarium's looking really nice. They have some nice enclosures for their animals, even over BHB, where the rack systems are, Rackland. He's talking about giving blue-tongued skinks some more stuff, UVBs, his ball pythons are getting substrate. Changes seem to be going, and it seems at this point that he's heard the hate and he's willing to change some stuff due to it. I think we all just need to go a little more easier on this guy. I mean, Jesus Christ, I've seen the Facebook of reptile keepers against Brian Barczyk. I mean, any little microscopic thing, these dudes are jumping down his throat over. We're talking about how, like, Luritic took a dump in the water bowl, and he's an awful keeper. Like, I'm sorry, does your snake not poop in its enclosure? What are you doing to make snakes not poop? That would probably be something I'd be more concerned about than the fact that, hey, a snake pooped and now he's cleaning it up. I mean, he's literally, the man tries so hard. He videotapes the snake pooping and then him cleaning up the poop, and you are still going after the guy. You're like, there's poop in there. He's a bad keeper. I would not know what to do in this guy's shoes. I mean, Jesus Christ. If you're Brian Barczyk, no animal can ever defecate anywhere. You must not feed the animals for fear of poop being seen on the videos. Even if you're literally cleaning the video in the video. I feel bad for the guy. I feel so bad for the guy. Yeah, I think that's about it, you know. Did this video have a topic? Probably not. Did I just ramble the whole time? Yeah, I think so. Final consensus? Brian. Pretty cool dude. Cool enclosures. Very big step up from, I don't know what it was, 2005, something like that. When did he start receiving hate? I don't remember. It's been a while, I could say that much. I think the most just perfect thing about people that hate Brian Barczyk is 90% of other breeders are doing it, but they don't get the hate. We can talk about spider ball pythons. Everyone made a reply for Brian Barczyk, why Brian Barczyk is horrible for the spider. Spiders are bad and Brian should be canceled. Yet, tons and tons of other people, I mean, Kevin McCurley made the spider ball python, and yet, nothing. Maybe he gets some, but not to the level of Brian Barczyk. Like, holy shit, I don't know, man. I don't know. Scaleless ball pythons. Wasn't the only guy doing it, but who got the hate? Let's take a guess. Who got all the hate for scaleless ball pythons? No, wait. I changed my mind. Final consensus of Brian Barczyk. You gotta stop with those thumbnails. I mean, oh, you gotta stop with those thumbnails. What is that? There was one, he just did one about his gator, and they left in the B-roll for the thumbnail. So the dude's like feeding the gator with tongs, and he's like, for 10 seconds straight, the guy's, what is that? My guy. Your eye, what's up with the eyes now? Now his eyes are really big? What's going on? Someone needs to talk to Jay about the editing. Is he doing that to you? Is that what's happening? Is Jay doing those thumbnails to you? Stop it. Thus ends another video that made absolutely no sense. I think we're gonna wrap it up from here. That's a crested gecko, and yeah. If you like the video, because hey, let's be honest, most people are gonna press the dislike button on this mess. Give it a thumbs up. Help me out here. We need to make it more liked than disliked, because that's just not fun. Want to see some more of my animals? Maybe some breeding projects? I do quite a few. You can check me out here, over there, at this name right here. Like designs like this shirt right here. Pretty cool stuff. Skull and Snake, it's a classic. Maybe you like that design. Maybe you like that design. Check me out at teespring.com/dbcbexotics. I got that info right there in the description, where you'll also find some Patreon. Little as $1 a month. You can see some wicked cool animals and pictures before I send them to anyone else. Any of the animals that I get, you can see for anyone else, and even the chance to get first dibs on the animals I produce. I'm a dude, and that's a gecko. We'll see you later.